we welcome our respective ED sir, Sri Jaideep Dattarai, our Chief Digital Officer, Sri Akhil Handaji, our hackathon partner, Sehmati Chief Operating Officer, Sri Vamsi Madhavji, and all other dignitaries present here, and all the viewers attending this event through YouTube Live on the launch of the Bob So, Bob Hackathon is based on a unique theme, that is account aggregator use cases. Bank has rolled out this hackathon is in partnership with Sehmati, who is the governing body of the account aggregator framework. The hackathon is supported technically by Messrs. Primit Fintech and Messrs. Devfolio. The account aggregator framework was launched by the
But if I am able to hear, it's completely frozen to me.
Yes, I had got some sort of disturbance again in between, but again, now I can hear you. But I can't see Akhil now.
Yeah, I think it just vanished from the.
Yeah.
Give them a minute.
The data aggregation, the use case these use cases and churn the new innovative ideas based on this platform.
Akhil, I'm getting some breaks.
Right. So can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yeah. So I will just let that be on. So what I'll do is I'll put from here. Okay. So I hope there is no feedback, right? So I'm using two mics now. So in case there is feedback, just let me know.
Yeah. No, I can hear you clearly now.
Right. So, sir, again, welcome to all the participants. Apologies for the tech issues that we are currently facing. I think we'll be able to settle this in due course. Now, account aggregator, I think, is as fundamental as it gets in terms of core market infrastructure. Is this live? Right. What UPI has done for the payment ecosystem in the country, we believe that the account aggregator will do for the ecosystem, BFSI ecosystem at large, and not just for banking, financial markets, insurance, PFM. All of it. And we believe that the overall the ecosystem is, of course, still very, very young. It will develop over a period of time, and we would like to encourage orderly growth of the ecosystem and also be part of this growth and encourage this growth. And this is where we believe that our partnership with Sehmati Foundation to launch one of its kind, the first of its kind hackathon being set up by a bank is going to be foundational. We expect that, while up till now the account aggregator use case has been largely limited to some amount of lending and PFM, but we believe during the course of this hackathon over the next, participants will get a very wide view of the domain, and then we will be able to do in a collaborative manner, bring out a lot more use cases. And we understand that the participants may be more technologically savvy, they may have less of domain expertise, and for that we're also going to host about 20 information sessions across the domain, from banking, digital lending, payments, risk management, capital markets, insurance, to master classes that will be done by our partners on account aggregator framework, the technology behind it, the API structure, etc. So all of it will be done by way of 20 information sessions over the next couple of months. And I believe that, we will have very wild interest. We will encourage and socialize this to all the ecosystem partners. I've had conversations with the insurance side of the business, and they're very excited by it. And I believe that we will be able to socialize these learnings and contribute to the overall development of the ecosystem. So with that, sir, I rest, and I now invite our executive director for his keynote address. Sir.
Thank you, Akhil, for setting the context. And I think it's an important sort of, I would say, a milestone in the entire account aggregator journey for BUB. While, of course, we have been hearing about the account aggregator concept, but then as it gets into more and more implementation, real-time execution, I think the use cases and how we look at what are some of the benefits that we get from this, I think the real value comes out then. And that is what is the intended objective. So I also thank Mr. Vamsi Madhav from Sehmati, who is also here today with us on this important milestone. I think it's indeed good to have Sehmati with us, which is also implementing on the governance side of the entire account aggregator framework. And of course, as we move, it will, of course, definitely a lot of evolution will also take place in terms of how the entire account aggregator framework works, talks to each other, talks to all the participants in the ecosystem, and then there will be problems and governance issues that we need to solve for and take this journey forward and make it even more stronger with time. But nonetheless, it's a very, very important development. I think for India. One, of course, everyone knows data is the new oil, right? So, and like you have oil is a resource, right? So, and it should be democratically available to anyone and everyone who has a use for it. So, if you want to use the oil, you can better log into the account aggregator framework, which provides you that resources, that oil, and then you make use of it, right? So. It's not that somebody should have an IPR over data, which is what was happening, and a competitive sort of a monopoly could develop, or some sort of restrictions could develop because of non-sharing of data, etc. But now I think that problem gets solved with this account aggregator concept coming in. I think it's more democratization of data. Account aggregator makes data freely available. In a shared manner, in a very consent-based manner, and aggregate from various disaggregated sources, brings all of it together and provides it in a way that it can be made use of and and very, very meaningful. So from that perspective, it's a really important development for India. And I think the potential that it has to really sort of change the entire ecosystem in India, I think for financial services is limitless. And I think it's very difficult even for a layman like me to even imagine what sort of a disruption it can bring in. Akhil was talking about the UPI and the concept or the AA framework being a sort of a similar sort of a disruptor here on the data space. I think it's really true. And of course, I still don't really am able to comprehend what sort of changes it will bring about in the next few years. So from that perspective, I think it's good that we are starting on this journey. We are starting afresh. We are starting in a way that we look at what are some of the used cases. And I think as we move on this journey, it's as data gets democratic, right? So while, as I said, data is a resource then, right? So data is a resource, but then the benefit goes to those people or those firms or those bodies which are able to make use of that data. The use is very, very critical, whether it's for the customer, whether it is for any other purpose, whether it is for risk management, whether it is for your operational efficiency, or whether it is for anything else, for onboarding or settlement mechanisms, whatever, or reconciliation for that matter. But use is important. And the one who is able to bring out the use, the bank or the financial institution or any other player who is able to make use of that data in a very, very meaningful, constructive way, is the one who will really be successful in this new world where you are getting data as a resource. So that is number one. Number two, when it comes to customers, because in a banking space, of course, is the customer who is the pivot and everything else revolves around the customers. So when it comes to the customer, the single point person, it's what is necessary for him, right? So while banks are looking at use cases, I think it's also important that we look at what is it that is useful to the customer. And as we look at the use for the customer, I think then the use cases get tailor-made and then it makes sense for the end customer and it makes sense for the organization which is building those use cases through the account aggregator framework and then builds the linkages and the bridges. So that is where it will actually all tie up, right? And for that purpose, I think it's important that this event that we are just starting on, this hackathon, I think it's a very, very important event because here it's a clash of ideas. It's sort of I would say an event of ideas where we want to see what all are the initial ideas that are coming out. Of course, there will be a lot of ideas as we move on this journey. Maybe 2 years later, 1 year later, there will be more number of ideas that will keep getting generated as we start using it. But at the initial stage also, I think there's a whole lot of ideas with this entire framework that we can tap onto, latch onto. And as we start on those initial bit, I think then those things will further get accelerated and evolved with time. And it's an evolution process, right? So we are only sort of catalysts to this evolution process where we are actually seeking all the fresh ideas, all the new ideas, because this new world is an innovator's world. It's about innovation. It's about how do you innovate to actually reach to the customer very, very differently and innovate to actually meet his end use or meet his requirements in a very innovative manner. So the buzzword is about innovation. You'll have to innovate to even get him to that end use that he or she is looking out, the end customer. And that innovation is actually brought out through the use case, right? So from that perspective, I think it's important for us to get ideas. And ideas are, I would say, it's nobody's sort of domain. Everyone, ideas are for free, but at the same time, we have to enable those ideas to come in. There are no dearth of ideas in terms of people or firms or agencies who can actually work on different sort of use cases, which will be beneficial not just for the individuals, but also for firms, agencies who can actually build something much more bigger and better with the initial set of ideas that they start working on. Right. So the whole idea is that through this event that we give space to people to bring out those ideas, and those ideas then can then become the future in terms of the account aggregator framework. So I think there's a lot to be done. We are at the initial stage, but at the same time, BOB is again quite a front runner in terms of how things are evolving in the digital space. The Bob World story, the digital lending story. There are a lot of IT activities that are currently being done by BOB in the IT space. The data lake creation that has been done in the bank. I think those are very, very big enablers which can actually help the bank take all the ideas that come in to a very, very different level. And in the digital space, scale is not a problem, right? So scale, it is always about scale. You can actually reach scale through digital. You cannot reach scale through manual processes. That is the limitation of manual, and that's the flexibility of a digital environment. So, and when you are looking at scale, it's important that we test out cases, we test out the initial thought processes, the ideas, the prototypes, and do it in a manner which is experimental, but on a platform which enables us to do that, right? And BOB offers that enabling environment where we are able to test out all those prototypes, etc., that could be that could scale up into something very big in the future, right? But at the same time, it's essential for us to test in a smaller sort of a sandbox, or a smaller sort of a experimental space where actually you are able to see whether it makes sense or not. So that is, I think, what BOB can offer and what BOB is bringing to the table through this event. And I think as we start testing out, as we start using all those prototypes, etc., on some database and data, etc., I think we will be able to flesh out those prototypes into much more meaningful things for the future, which can be taken forward, I think. And that is something which also tests people, tests their abilities, and also gives a sneak peek into the future in terms of what the future beholds for all of us. And the future is very, very big as far as the account aggregator concept is concerned. So I am sure this will only be a sort of a catalyst in achieving that bigger milestones that we want to achieve. So inviting all of you who are interested and have those set of ideas that you really wanted to bring out and sort of test out. And I think the future is all open for anybody and everybody who wants to really experiment, take that lead in terms of ideas. So let's start on this journey. I think as we move forward, there's a lot that will happen. I think this is from today onwards, I think we start with a phase 1 where we just invite ideas, the first set of ideas to come in within the next few days.
That's
and
right.
Then there will be a sort of a phase 2 where we shortlist and sift through those ideas, and then the last phase of developing the prototypes, right? So it's a good sort of 2.5 months journey, 2.5 months journey, I think.
2.5 months,
Right?
yes.
So I think good enough time for all the developers and the young budding people with ideas, with concepts, and BOB offers that platform, that space where all of you can actually use those ideas at this and develop those into much more concrete, meaningful things. Right. So all the best to all participants who are actually thinking of getting into this hackathon. And I think we are hoping for very great participation. We have also received already a lot of interest from people, and people have been reaching out to us to actually conduct such a hackathon. I think this is the event is just the announcement is just a formality, but then we can get started now. So all the best to all the digital team also for running this hackathon in a very, very seamless manner. All the participants also, all the best for it's. Of course, it's a competition, but it also enables participation. Also, is even more important because it enables you to actually bring out your ideas and just showcase it and see how it actually flows out, right? And the test of any idea that anybody puts into this hackathon is that it has to be something which serves the customer interest. It serves what the customer wants in the first place. So that should be at the back of the mind. It has to be seamless. Security has to be always at the back of the mind. The journey has to be smooth. The user experience has to be absolutely top notch. And with that sort of overall sort of things that we keep at the back of our mind, I think then the world is open. So with that, good luck to all of you. Good luck to our digital team. Good luck to all the participants. Look forward to a great participation and great results from this, which we can then, of course, take it into a much bigger scale. Thank you, Akhil.
Right. Thank you, sir. And I think very key messages from you, overarching messages. And I think the best is, if I draw a parallel from the gold rush that happened in the West, of course, I think about a century back, BOP will be the shovel to all the explorers who are going to mine the data mountains. So we will be the enablers for you. And I think, and of course, we welcome all of you to come and collaborate and jointly bring out fresh ideas. We give you the platform. We will also be your customer. And I think it will be a great journey. Now, back to Girish.
Yeah. So now I request Mr. Vamsi Madhav, Chief Operating Officer at Sehmati, to address our dignitaries and fintechs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Girish. I'm reminded of a saying which all of us would have heard, which is, it takes a village to raise a child. So Account Aggregator, like Akhil said, is the latest child on the India Stack scene. And while one can look back and trace the origins to the idea having been born several years ago, it's indeed like child raising. It'll take its while. And if I may extend the analogy, village requires village elders, right, to basically put the onus and the priority. So from Sehmati's viewpoint, this hackathon has great signaling value because we view Bank of Baroda as a village elder in the Indian fintech scene. And I think as a citizen, when I see a village elder like Bank of Baroda putting its might behind a new idea, I think the signaling value, the trust that it generates, that this is here to stay and something that I can actually as a citizen use, is immense. So for that, we are extremely thankful and grateful to Mr. Joydeep, Mr. Akhil, and the extended team that I know is working behind the scenes, Mr. Girish, Mr. Kirubanan, Gajendra, and even my colleagues in Sehmati. While today is just the start, it is too early to give a vote of thanks for all the effort. This is actually it's very nice that you prioritize this. And from a citizen's perspective, I think this is extremely useful. The second part of that village story is that it also requires village youth who actually come up with new ideas. And I think the digital team of Bank of Baroda, the extended partners in Pyramid, Devfolio, and all of you who are hopefully on YouTube and will register, I think you are the youth that I as a citizen really look forward to in terms of giving what Mr. Joydeep said, bringing together all the technical complexity that is behind the scenes into a very simple experience for me that works like magic. We are at 2 million consents cumulatively today. I was telling Akhil earlier on that we are seeing about 10 to 15,000 consent requests a day. 2 million in absolute terms is a large number, but we are all acutely aware that for India, this is, scratching the surface of the potential. So to us, this hackathon is extremely timely because not only does it signal the might of trusted entities, not only does it bring together at this stage a lot of potential innovation, it signals the next, I would say, era in the evolution, of account aggregator. It will hopefully accelerate this number growing by leaps and bounds. From Samati's viewpoint, we are happy to be a knowledge partner. We are happy to help all of you who are on, who are going to register in the hackathon and look at, any sort of advice in terms of what the AA ecosystem is about. We are a call or an email away. And to Bank of Baroda teams, again, very thankful for your trust in what we do, but more importantly, in hosting this hackathon and really putting your might behind the whole concept. Thank you again. With that, Girish, back to you.
So, thank you, Mr. Vamsi Madhav, for your kind words. Now we request for playing the AV to launch the hackathon. Now I request for playing the unveiling the hackathon registration website.
Someone has taken the soundtrack from a K-drama.
So that's
Well,
that's right. I think
that's innovation.
Yes. So there has to be a dramatic element also to it, right?
I know it's almost like cross-border innovation. Good, great.
So now I request Mr. Kirbanandan K, AGM Digital Platform, to deliver the word of thanks.
Yes, sir. We thank all the participants for joining. On behalf of the entire organization, I would first of all extend my grateful thanks to our executive director. Among his busy schedule, he has been able to join us and grace the occasion, and he has been always a pillar of strength, specifically to our digital team, where he has been always coming up with new and permitting us to do the innovations and lead on to the new initiatives. Thank you, sir. Our Chief Digital Officer, Sir Shri Akhil for the guidance and directions, without whom this event would not be possible, because he has always been persistent that we do great things. We actually do the connect between the, as Sir said, consumer and the digital part. So without this we thank him for always motivating us and ensuring that today we have been able to launch and this initiative. We also thank our partner, Samati, account aggregator, the collection of account aggregator ecosystem. First and foremost, we would also thank Mr. Mahesh, who had initially taken up this along with our CDO sir, and then the team with our Vamsi Madhav sir and Ruchi, Shalini being sharing the guidance for this event, where their expertise we have been able to read it. We thank Vamsi Madhav sir for this insight onto this particular event. Thank you, sir. We take this opportunity to thank our head DPPG, Shri Girish Mansani sir, who has always been our constant motivator. Anything taken, he will ensure that he addresses it in complete total. During this moment, we also thank our head digital assets, Shri Sitaram sir and his team for their valuable support to us. We thank our head digital business partnership and innovation and his entire marketing team for their support extended. Because without whom this event would have been a great launch for the success. We thank our technical partners, Pyramid Tech, their folio, for their valuable technical support. Least but not the least, I would like to thank my own team, Mr. Gajendra and Rajkumar, for their architecting the whole program. Now, what I would personally request is all the participants to register and be part of this hackathon. So once again, to refresh you, as there is phase 1 which starts on today, and then where the submission of ideas ends on 25th November, and then post which the prototype will be a parallel event till 21st of December. We expect more and more participation, and also we have arranged a valuable list of output resource speakers from the banks, internal as well as the external, who will, and there are some masterclass which is their plan. So we request all the participants to take advantage of this. For any help, they can always reach us on the shared mail IDs. And once again, I thank all the participants who are connected to us to this particular.
In this, and just one point to note is, while we run the first phase till the 21st of November, 25th of if you submit your entries earlier, they will get evaluated earlier.
It's a break. Can
you hear me?
Yeah, you're back now.
Right, sir. So just to reiterate, the two phases are not sequential. The phase 1 is effectively about idea submission, but the participants should submit their ideas ASAP, and they will get a go or a no-go decision at the earliest, not after the deadline, but not later than the deadline, of course. So till the 25th of November, you can submit your entries, and you will at the earliest get your decision, and then you will have as much time running into 21st of December to develop your prototype. So you don't have to wait till the last day of 25th of November. Do it at the earliest. If you have exciting ideas, you may, who knows, if you get a go, no go, you may get another opportunity to submit as well, right? So take that as an opportunity to get more ideas, right? I think that's it.
Yeah.
Girish? We will have a lot broader participation, including the fintechs with us at the culmination, which will be in January, where I think it will be a very wholesome event. So all the thanks that Kirubanandan did was preemptive in nature, and that is to encourage everybody to work towards that January deadline. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. All the best. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Bye.
Thank you.